Good morning. I am kind of excited in a way, in that if you'll check out this number right here, we've had over 1 million views. And I don't exactly know what YouTube constitutes as a view. Some people would say that a viewer has to watch a particular show for a certain amount of time, and nobody really knows how much that time is, or whether it's a percentage of the full-length file or show, whatever. But anyway, my point is we've had 1 million views, and I want to thank everybody that has subscribed and everybody that has viewed my shows. It really makes it worthwhile when I see numbers like that. And we're getting very close to 5,000 subscribers. So, keeping that in mind and kind of being upbeat, one of my subscribers sent me some information on that Sony AN-LP1 loop antenna. And we've had a lot of feedback on that antenna, and that's what really gets me excited about doing these shows, is when we get that interactivity. I learn a lot from doing that, and I'm hoping you as viewers learn a lot. So anyway, let's get to what was sent to me. Right, where'd it go? Right here. Somebody sent me the service manual for the AN-LP1. And you know, one of the things that I was complaining about is all the documentation that came with my antenna was all in Japanese and I couldn't read it. So I really had no instructions. So this gives you some specifications. And I had hoped to annotate this file, but it's a protected file, so I can't do that. Here's something that someone mentioned, is that the antenna should be hung up near a window. Well, my problem is, number one, in my shop, I only have one window, and it's covered with aluminum foil to keep the sun out, because it faces directly east, and therefore it gets that hot morning sun. So I did something simple, and I just put some aluminum foil up to kind of reflect the sun. I had hoped to have somebody put some of that window film up, but nobody wanted to do a one window, so it didn't happen. So it doesn't do me any good really to stick the antenna up against that window. The other thing, the other direction is the side of my house, which means all the rest of the house is on that wall, which faces west. The other direction is into my kitchen with all the appliances from the kitchen, so that probably wouldn't help. And the last direction, which is the one that I found to be most useful, is the garage door. Now, as you probably saw from my videos, the antenna was hung quite a ways from that garage door, and maybe I need to get it closer, and that would help. So, looking into all these suggestions people made, now other people said, you know, the antenna, this loop antenna, is too small. Well, the idea of this antenna was for people who live in apartments and stuff like that, and they don't have much room, so you don't want it to be much bigger. So it's kind of a convenience, and it's for portable radios. It's not for your big tabletop radio, so keep that in mind. So let's just kind of look through this thing together. Here is a table of the various settings and what frequencies they cover. So I was down here yesterday in the 31 meter band, a little below. I started at 9 megahertz and went up to about 10 megahertz, and I was using position 10. So as you can see, you have positions. It's not a variable tune capacitor or something like that. It's positions. So that's something there. And like I say, this is the service manual. It's not the user's manual. So it has different things on it. Now here it says when using these two radios, and I was originally using this radio right here, the 7600. It says when the antenna controller is connected to the external antenna jack on the radio, the power supply of the antenna controller is linked to the power supply of the radio. Set the power switch on the antenna controller to off and standby. So what that radio does is, and probably the Texan I use, is it energizes the internal circuitry on the antenna controller. It doesn't actually power it. Now it says when using these two, which I don't have either of those, the power supply of the antenna controller is linked to the power supply of the radio, but this may not work properly. Set the power switch to on. So in that case you have to set it to on. And then lastly, when using these two radios, we do not recommend using the SW77 with this antenna. That's interesting. So there's some good information there. Again, I want to thank the person that provided me with this document. Let's see, what else? Precautions, you don't want it to get hot, all that stuff. And here's attaching the filter. Nothing new there. Attaching, or how to attach using the adapter to a telescopic antenna. And then since this is a service manual, it tells you how to take it apart. And we'll look inside here a bit. Here's the inside of that little filter box. Frequency adjustments. This is where you can actually make some adjustments if you have the right equipment to fine-tune this thing for the various selector positions. I guess that also means, let me go back a little bit. I guess this means you can, if you're interested in certain frequencies and they're not their standard frequencies, you could adjust it to offset it. Say, for instance, you wanted to use this antenna for the amateur bands. You could maybe readjust it or whatever. Look at this, is what surprised me. Look at all the electronics inside this thing. Whatever that is. And in there it shows you parts list. And that's about it. So there's interesting information about the inside of this antenna, a little bit of information of using it. Here's the setup. It says unfold the antenna, pull out the cord, attach the antenna, take out the cord, connect it to your antenna. Connect it to your radio. So not much information there. But it does point out, like several people have suggested, that I really need to get it. I think, matter of fact, it says somewhere here. Let me see. I thought it saw something about placement. It says, it's a reminder, this active antenna is only for shortwave. And I thought it said something. Where did I see that? Oh, here it is. Attach the antenna module to a glass window or a curtain. Now, the other alternative I have is to use it in my office, which I do have a glass window I can get to. Now, the next thing about windows is many times windows have screens in it. Now, the screens aren't grounded, but they're still there, so they could act as a shield against the incoming signals. I don't know what the effect is there, and I'm sure somebody will chime in and leave me a comment and get me straightened out there too. I do have, and that's something I could try, I do have one window in my office that I took the screen out because I have some of my security cameras. I got a lot of security cameras around my house, but I have 2 of them in that window looking down in the front yard. So there's no screen in it. So maybe that's what I'll try. It takes a little bit of getting used to. No, it takes a little bit of getting to, but I'm pretty sure I can reach it. The other thing is that those 2 windows have blinds, and the blinds are metal, so I have to remember to open the blinds or not be blind. So there's some things I can try. And once again, I wanted to thank the person that sent me this file. And hopefully we can try some more things with this antenna and see if things improve. So if you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for everybody that has viewed my videos, and now we're over 1 million views. That's awesome. Bye-bye.